Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, turn at the hips and waist. 2, keep the hands closer to the head. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to the left foot. Good Tai Chi posture. Kick your right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whole body. 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet. Choose the right side. Cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good golden cockerel now. Remembering to get in your spiral, spiral down, spiral up. Spiral down, spiral up. Getting in your counterbalance where one hand, the forward hand comes up, the other one goes down. Other one up and down, okay? Counterbalancing, spiraling, good timing. Good balance relies on our concentration, our focus on our dantian, our center of gravity, 2 inches below our navel. Here we go. Feet apart. Dropping the shoulder, tucking the butt. Here we go. Last set. Kicking out. We can spiral down and spiral up. 50-50, shift weight, gather, center, spiral out. Counterbalance. That's it. Holding your ball, root down, store that energy, look at the size of your ball, look at your Tai Chi posture. Is your butt still tucked under? T stance, L stance, move the energy. Bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, all in that order, bow stance. Sit back and sit down on that imaginary stool. Twist step, root down, center with the ball on a T. Out and to the side, L, move the energy from the flat of your foot, turn the hips and waist, move the energy out to the tips of your finger, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, root down, store the energy, center with the ball. L stance, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, all the way down. Twist step, root down, center. L, move the energy, bottom hand, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, parallel and higher. This is the way of centering, all together. Ear, hand, and heel. What? Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. Left hand higher, root down, T stance, you're stacked. All together, ear and hand and heel. What? Turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride. Are they? Sit back. Sit down, twist step, center, set it up correctly. All together, Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, set it up correctly on a T, multitask, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, set it up correctly. All together, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride. Sit back, sit down, twist step, set it up correctly. This is a way of centering, multitasking. Move the energy, then turn the hips and waist. Power of the mind, power of the hips and waist. Sit back, sit down. One quietly, internalize what you just heard. Make it almost perfect. Listen carefully. Twist step, hold your ball. We're going to grasp the bird's tail. T stance, L stance, move the energy, ward off, pause. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands, sit down, sit back. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Right hand or back hand contacts the forward hand, moves the energy through the middle of our body. Separate, roll back and sit down. Pause, come up, lunge forward. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, T stance, center with the ball. You're still in the direction of the bulletin board wall. You cannot be facing the clock wall. Step out on an L. Move the energy, bottom hand advances, forearm your opponent, pause. Then turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Pull down, pull back, turn at the hips and waist to look back. The back hand contacts the front hand. As you turn your hips and waist, center of the body, push the energy through. Separate and roll back and sit down and pause. Then come up and then come out. Okay, listen to all of that and do it accordingly. Twist step, T stance, L stance, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, forearm, pause. Turn the hips and waist, reposition hands. Sit down, sit back, turn the hips and waist to look back. Back hand meets the forward hand. Turn the hips and waist, middle of the body, separate. Roll back, sit down, pause, then come up, then lunge forward. Twist step, sit back, sit down, sorry. Twist step, T stance, L stance, move the energy, then turn the hips and waist, forearm, turn the hips and waist, reposition, then sit down, sit back, look back. Back hand contacts the front hand as it moves toward the center, then the energy is dispersed. Roll back and sit down, pause, come up, forward. Okay, internalize, twist, sit back, sit down. Twist step on your own. Okay, you stop after you hold your ball, okay? Stop after you hold your ball and relax. You watch me from my back and you think through what the key phrases were as you were taught. Okay, ready to try. Starting with your ball. Everybody ready? T stance. L, move the energy, bottom hand, turn the hips and waist, forearm. Reposition. Back hand meets the front, push through the center. Pause. Sit back, twist. Form the ball at the same time you form your T. Out, L. Move the energy first, then turn the hips and waist and forearm. Pause, reposition. Turn the hips and waist. Back hand catches up with the front. Center push out. Pause. One more time. Sit back. T. L. Pause. Reposition. Meet. Turn. Push. Pause. Closing form. Sit back, sit down. Twist. Open pivot, which is like a twist. In pivot, like a twist. Embrace the tiger. Fingers should be down. Weight should be on the left. Put it heavier on the left as you move your right foot over. Turn at the wrists. Bring the energy up to your chest, or bring the tiger closer to you. Then closer to your chest, push him out. So each time, as soon as you made that embracing of the tiger, the contact of the wrists are always there. You do not separate the wrists and have no contact. Okay, so this is how we did it. We pushed out on the last grasping of the bird's tail. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Bottom of our body matches the top. Bottom of the body twists out. Bottom of the body and top come in. Embrace the tiger, right hand on the inside of the cross. Fingers are facing downward. Weight is still here. Weight continues to be here and increases so that the weightless foot can now move over, turn the wrists, bring the energy up as you elevate. Bring the tiger closer. Power of the left wrist pushes out the right so that you have no choice but the palms face down. Bring it back. Slowly lower yourself. Gravity takes you back home. Wrap around, heel, off the ground, toe, arch heel. Okay, one more time. Abbreviated now. Okay. Well, let's do the right grasping of the bird's tail. Holding your ball on a T stance. The more energy you can store, the more energy you can use, and the more you can do good Tai Chi. Step out. Bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Pause. Turn hips and waist. Reposition hands. Sit down. Sit back. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Back hand goes further back, then comes to the front. Turn your hips and waist. Push the energy through the middle of the body. Separate the energy. Roll back and sit down. Pause. Come up and lunge forward. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances, forearm. Pause, turn the hips and waist, reposition. Sit down, sit back, turn at the hips and waist to look back. Back hand goes back a little further, then contacts, then pushes from the middle. Separate the energy and roll back and sit down. Pause, come up, lunge forward. Closing form or apparently closing. Sit back, sit down. Twist, pivot out, pivot in, embrace first, right hand on the inside, shift the weight over, rotate, bring that energy up, bring it slightly closer. Power of the energy of the left wrist pushes out the right. Palms are down. Gravity takes you home. How? Drop the shoulders, flex the knees, wrap around, heel up, balance off, toe, arch, heel. Okay? So hopefully with that long, drawn out 2 movements, we've gained strength, but not only that, have a better understanding of how our body and the energy that we exude and we have within our own system is now used a little bit more efficiently. Okay? Any questions on that? All right. Let's go through the 10 form and get ready for a big lesson on the 16. Okay. Good Tai Chi posture, dropping the shoulders, really tucking that butt in there. Commencing form, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate. Deep breath, elevate, drop that water. Shoulder level, push down, make yourself small. Center, glance at the back, open, ear, turn head and neck, meet, slide forward, slide back. Repulse. Center, glance, higher, open, ear, turn head and neck, meet in the center, repulse 2. T-stance, parallel and higher. All together. Turn hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, set it up correctly on a T. All together, turn hips and waist, move the energy, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, center with the ball on a T, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist step, root down, center with a T, out on an L, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Flip the forward hand, 3 o'clock. Sit back, sit down, twist step, 12 o'clock. Twist step, 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. 9 o'clock, only 1. 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. 2 things happen at 9. Using your hips and waist, of course. 3 o'clock, it ends, so we only do 1. Shift the weight to the left, come up at 12, golden cockerel. Kicking out, gather, center, counterbalance, follow, 50-50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, holding your ball, out and to the side, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand, forearms, turn the hips and waist, reposition, sit down, sit back, turn at the hips and waist to look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push from the center, roll back and sit down and pause, spiral up, forward. Other side, sit back, sit down. Then twist, then hold your ball. Out L. Move the energy first, turn the hips and waist, forearm. Turn the hips and waist, reposition. Sit down, sit back. Turn the hips and waist to look back. Back hand contacts front hand. Middle of the body pushes out. Separates and roll back and sits down and pause. Spiral up, lunge forward. Sit back, sit down. Twist, open twist, in twist, embrace, shift the weight over, rotate, open the palms so now they're facing upwards, raise by unflexing to your chest, come in slightly, power of the left wrist pushes out the right, palms are down. Make yourself small. How? Retract, flex, tuck the elbow, gravity takes you to the side of your pants, lift off the ground as you close your form. Okay? Let's go through the 16 now, okay? With that amount of focus, patience, and calmness. Okay, good Tai Chi postures, touching that butt, commencing form, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate, deep breath, reverse, getting grounded. T-stance, holding your ball, part the wild horse's mane 2 times. Out on an L, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances for a bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist out, ball for better balance as you advance, out on an L, bottom hand advances, part wild horse's mane 2. Half step forward, hold your ball. Spin the ball as you sit up back on the back foot to the right, watch the advancing left hand go up, lift off the ground the front foot, point it out, white crane spreads its wings. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow in as you bisect towards your dantian. Swirl back, left hand higher, setting it up, off the ground, brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down, twist step, set it up correctly, brush knee 2. Sit back, sit down, twist step, left hand high, right hand fisted. Shift the weight, exchange the places, deflect to the right. Bring that arm in as you parry, and then punch. Strip the guy off of you, open the fingers, roll back and push him down, turn the palms down. Bring the palms up and then out. We're going to pivot on the back heel. So you're going to give up some weight, pivot on the back heel, pivot on the right, the front heel, hook the back hand, shift the weight to a T stance, come out, turn the wrists out, single whip. Half step forward, swirl the right or back hand, rock the front foot so the weight is on the back, and we're going to play our lute. And the front foot is on its heel, our butt is tucked under, the weight is on our right foot. We're going to repulse the monkey by walking backwards. Center the front hand, glance at the right hand that's higher. Okay, here we go. Ear, lift off the ground, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of the front foot as you meet, slide forward, push forward, slide back. Center, glance at the left that's higher, all together. Ear, lift, toe, heel, pivot to the middle, and slide. We're going to pivot and pirouette now, okay? Pivot on the front heel, pirouette on the back toe. We're going to spin out with our right heel and reposition and hold the ball correctly. Kick out with your right heel, reposition your ball. Step out with your left heel, turn the ball, and maiden shuttles on her left. Now maiden has to shuttle on her right. Sit back, sit down, take a twist step in, hold your ball. Right hand's ready to go, right heel comes out, spin the ball to the forehead, maiden puts her shuttlecock to the right. Take a half step with your left foot, straighten out, left hand is getting ready to position itself to go down to the bottom of the seat. Here we go while the right hand swipes across our knee. This is what we're going to work on. One hand comes up, two hands come up. Then our foot, we start in the middle, we stretch out our knee, we put our heel down, and we flash arms like a fan. We're going to sit back and sit down. Twist step, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Cloud hands, 12 o'clock. 3 o'clock, two things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, nothing happens. 9 o'clock, two things happen. Flip the hands, open the feet. Only 2 rotations of cloud hands. You're going to close your form, close your feet at 3 o'clock, and you're going to form a T stance, and you're going to hold your ball. After a T stance, what do? Take a L stance, bottom hand advances what? Forearms your opponent. We're going to close our form. Turn the hips and waist, reposition your hands to sit down, sit back, as if to grasp the bird's tail. Look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push from the center, separate the energy and roll back and sit down, pause, come up, lunge forward, other side, sit back, sit down, twist step, center with ball on a T, out on an L, bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Pause, turn the hips and waist, reposition, sit down, sit back, look back, contact at the front wrist, push from the center, separate, roll back, and sit down. Pause, come up, lunge forward. Apparently closing. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, open pivot, in pivot, embrace with the right hand inside the cross, shift the weight over, turn at the wrist, pull up the tiger. At chest level, bring him slightly in. Power of the left energy pushes out the right. Palms are facing and separated. Drop your shoulders, tuck your elbows, flex your knees. Let gravity take you to the side. Heel up, off the ground, toe, arch, heel. Closing form, okay? So it's more challenging because we're going slower. We're trying to get in all our verbal instructions and all the little itty-bitty sub-movements, if you could call it that. All right, so let's start again. I'm going to angle this way. What am I going to do? I'm going to push this way. So we're going to get into pivoting and pirouetting to get into maiden and then needle to the bottom C, which is what I want to cover, okay? So you're going to angle like me, but not, of course, to the camera, but in that angle, and your left foot is advanced, your right foot is a 45, and you're pushing out, okay? What are we going to do? First of all, put your hands down and check to see if you dragged your left foot back, whether there was going to be a gap. If there's not, then you're not in a real good L stance, okay? Okay. So 45 degree in the back, and the front foot is on a 180 or 90 right straight, okay? So that's your reference point there. You push out, you're in a bow stance. We're going to, pivot on the back, sit back, sit down, pivot on the front, pirouette on the back, kick out with our right heel, reposition our ball, step out with our left hand comes out, flips to the top, shuttlecock goes right there. Sit back, sit down, pivot in, hold your ball, right heel comes out, right hand goes to the forehead, flips, and the left hand puts the shuttlecock right there. Half step to the back with your left. Now you're on a straightaway, and then we're going down to the bottom of the sea. Okay? One more time this way, and we'll do it the other way. But we want to get good because you're not going to be able to see me on a pivot and a pirouette. Left foot forward, angle to the angled. Pushed out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. Kick out right. Kick out left. Spin, shuttlecock, there. Sit back, sit down. Pivot in, hold your ball. Right heel out, right hand spins, put the shuttlecock with your left hand right there. Then half step to the back. Okay? One more time, and then we're going to do the other way. Angle the same way, left foot forward, you've just pushed out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette, kick out, spin out, shuttle there. Sit back, pivot in, hold ball, out, shuttlecock right there. Okay? Now we're going to face the road. Okay, and same thing. Left foot forward, push out. Okay, because you did have some homework. So people who have done their homework know where I am. Push out. What are we gonna do? Sit back, sit down. Pivot the front on the heel. Pirouette, reposition your hands on the right toe. Spin out, kick with your right, reposition your hands. You can see me. Left foot out, left hand comes up to the forehead, flips, shuttlecock there. Sit back, sit down. Twist in, hold your ball. Right heel out, right bottom hand, flips to the forehead, shuttlecock right there. Watch and do. Half step to the back. Set up your left hand. Right hand is down, swiped across here. I'm doing it on an exaggeration just so you can see. The right hand is this way. First you keep the palm down and you just move it here. And the left hand is like this. When we do this motion, the left foot has your weight. We're gonna come up and go down. How? This is the left hand set up. The right hand sweeps across to below the left thigh. We're on the toe of the right. We do several things. We lift off, we swipe down, we come down. We come up one hand, join it with another hand, join it with the foot, and stretch out the knee, come forward, flash arms. Okay, talking about multitasking. This one's even a little bit more. Okay, let's try it again. Face the road, left foot forward, right foot 45, you just pushed out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot on the heel of the left, pirouette on the back toe, your hands are wrong, okay, or incorrect. Kick out with your right to reposition the ball, left heel, left hand, flips, shuttlecock there. Sit back, sit down, twist in, hold your ball, heel out, spin the ball, flip the forward hand up, top hand flips and the shuttlecock goes there. Half step to the back, across the hips and waist, down to the bottom of the sea. One hand up, two hands up for more stability, foot up, stretch out, flash arms. Sit back, sit down. That's 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay, each time we're adding a little bit more. So so hands down now. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to move you from pivot, pirouette, maiden, then we moved into needle to the bottom of the sea, and now we're doing flash arms, and then now we're doing cloud hands. So you're saying, wow, this is getting tougher and tougher. But wait a minute. We have been working on this pivot and pirouette for a long time. So that should get a little bit easier, so then you can tackle the newer movements, okay? So that's the premise I'm coming from, okay? So we're gonna do it again, facing the road, left foot forward, you just pushed out. And you're really kind of sinking because the shoulders are dropped, okay? But now you're going to sit back and sit down to allow the front foot to then pivot and pirouette the back. We're going to spin out and kick with our right heel, reposition. Turn our hips and waist as we shuttle right to the left. Sit back, sit down. Pivot in, hold your ball. The maiden has to do both sides. Right heel, right hand, spins, turn the hips and waist, put the shuttlecock there. She did it both sides now, and we know that we're on a zigzag. We're going to take a straightaway movement, which is needle to the bottom of the sea. To get to a straightaway, we have to take a half step to our back with our left foot. Step back with our left, and half step means to our toe. Set up the left hand. Right hand came this way. Lift off, go down to the bottom of the sea. One hand comes up, two hands come up. Then what? We're stuck. The front foot comes up, stretches out. We have balance. We flash our arms like a fan. Wow, that's hard, but we were going slowly, okay? Sit back, sit down. We're at 9. We want to get to a twist step to 12. We want to twist out to the 9 o'clock, but we don't close because we only go to the right. Move the hips and waist to 12. Close the feet, flip the hands at 3, 12, 9 o'clock. Two things happen, flip the hands, open the feet because we want to go to the right. At 3 o'clock, we flip the hands, we turn it into a ball, we close the feet, we make a T. Out and to the side, ward off. Then you know how to get back home because you then grasp the bird's tail, do the other side, close to form, what we were working on earlier, okay? All right, just to mix it up now. Let's take it on the angle, okay? Same thing. Take an angle, left foot forward, right foot 45, you just pushed out. Sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. Let's just do that, okay? Because we were really stalling it around. Okay, everybody just watch me first, okay? And then this is what you're gonna do. Left foot forward, right foot what? But we're watching me. We push out. Sit back, sit down. Why? Because we need to create a weightless or pivoted foot. Pivot, pirouette. Watch again. Push out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. Picking up the speed, I'm not going to say anything, okay? Okay? So our job is mainly to do this a little better, a little smoother, a little faster, but better, okay? So how am I doing it? All I'm doing is the same way, but I'm not taking my sweet old time. I pushed out, I sit back, I sit down, I twist, I pirouette, then I kick out, okay? Let's just get that segment done. Okay, so left foot forward, push out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. One more time, push out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. Okay, one more time, push out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. So now you see that the pivot and the pirouette are enhancing or logical movements because of what our pivoting and pirouette does. It's not a contrived, disconnected upper body, lower body, but the lower body is sort of dictating our upper body because it's coming now, connecting, and it's a little bit more natural. Let's get it really natural, okay? Left foot forward, push out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. Push out, sit back, twist, pirouette. Okay, we're gonna add it on a couple more times. Push out, sit back, twist step, pirouette. One more time and then we're gonna add on. Push out, sit back, pivot, pirouette, kick out right. Left heel, left hand, shuttlecock there, maiden. Sit back, sit down, pivot in, hold your ball, out right, spin right, flip right, left there. How we're gonna straighten out? Take a half step with your left toe down, straight away to the bottom of the seat. One hand comes up, two hands come up, then your foot, just a way of centering. Stretch out the knee, put the knee down, put the heel down, flash arms like a fan. We're in a bow step. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 12 o'clock, two things happen at 3, what? Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, two things happen at 9. Flip the hands open. 12 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, you flip the hands, close the feet, form a ball, form a T. Bottom matches the top. Step out, bottom hand advances, forearm your opponent. Pause, turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands. What? Sit, down, sit, back. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Backhand contacts the front hand, turns, then pushes from the center. Separates, sit, down, pause, come up, come out. Other side, sit back, sit down. Twist, step, hold your ball. Out to the side, bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands, sit down, sit back, look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, middle of the body, push the energy through, separate and roll back and sit down, spiral up, lunge forward. Let's practice our closing. Sit back, sit down, pivot, open pivot, in pivot, embrace the tiger, right hand on the inside, shift the right foot over, turn at the wrist, bring the energy up, bring the tiger closer, push the tiger away. Separate, drop the shoulders, make yourself small, flex your knees, gravity takes you home, on the toe, off the ground, toe, arch, heel. Okay, good. So that's the end of the 16. Now you know all the movements, okay? Then you go back and you say, I know that those are more difficult ones. Maybe I should tackle that first. Or you make yourself feel good and you do all the easy stuff first and then do the more difficult.
Progressing along, I get to watch. But I just want to tackle one form today, but it's really 4 forms in one. You learn that one and you can go back and forth like in the 10 form. That's almost a mini form in of itself. And as you go on in Tai Chi, at least young Tai Chi, that becomes a very important part of the more complex forms. So, grasping the one I want to concentrate on is grasping the bird's tail, okay? As you stand here, you're holding your ball, T-step, step out, ward off. When you ward off, 2 hands are working, or 2 extremities are working, along with the rest of your body. So, ward off. Everybody knows, hey, ward off, that's what you do. But that's my favorite joke is, in Tai Chi, no part of the body is unemployed, okay? Which means here. Ward off, but you're also warding off here. It's your intention is as if I am forming a border. Nobody will get inside here. It allows me to figure out, hey, where's everybody? I've developed, give me space so I can think about what am I going to do. And if possible, I can pin you some way so that it allow me to think. But you've got this border. The second movement is you switch your hands, pull back. It's an evasive, recessive movement. You said, give me some time, and the guy's pushing too hard. You just switch your hands. You might grab him, but you steer him away, okay? And you don't come up here and then do this. You steer him away, and the third movement is you are here, you're still here, hands are separated. Hands are separated because you grab, hands are separated. You don't grab like this, right? And you come down, okay? You say, oh, you're coming toward me here? Let me steer you over that way. Steer you over that way, okay? The 2 hands are still apart. This hand rolls. And when you roll, I'm still here. But the minute I turn, I've got power turning, I've got power advancing. Okay? So here, I've done this. And before you start forward, this hand is almost touching. And when you're ready to go forward, I haven't shifted forward, you transfer your energy and you push him away with the body up here, but you're also using this. Okay? And then the fourth movement is a semi-tricky movement. Again, you say, you're coming too fast and too hard, let me direct your energy, push you down. But when you feel like you're falling down and you pitch backwards, I help you to go backwards. So it's a combination of come, goodbye. Okay, so that's 4 different things in one movement. A little faster. You're starting from here, ward off. Give me some space. Let me switch my hands gently. But now comes, let me direct you. Turn, and I haven't shifted, but my hands are coiling up. Remember? Spiraling. Forward. Everything's coming forward. Again, down, back. Up, forward. Okay? So, the thing I see in the different renditions that I see today is, you have some people that are doing this, and this is unemployed, okay? And it's here. And then when you're coming this way, 2 are here, and they're both grabbing because they think they're going to make a tug of war with the person, versus you grabbing just to get hold of him, clinching. And what do you do with the rest of your body? You may turn a little, you turn a little bit this way, but you don't try to wrench him this way. You sit down and you turn. Sit down, getting linear movement and a little bit of rotatory movement and just plain old weight. And you're balancing yourself. You're not, you are, that's where your Tai Chi posture and your substantial comes into being. But then you have enough energy. You've called your energy. You're in your optimum position. You might not be able to stand here all day, but it's semi-comfortable because all you're doing is standing in a straight pole. All the power is here. The most energy that you're using is in your upper leg, but the rest are just sort of waiting for something else to happen. Okay? So curl yourself up again. Turn yourself and let everything go. Okay, so if you have nothing to do, practice grasp the bird tails back and forth. You find that sometimes that's an easy way to do Tai Chi. But, good? Yeah.